did some of the trainings in options domination on the enterprise level, and we actually have a whole host of updates and awesome news for you, as well as you get to take out all your frustrations with Nadex on chip.
Oh, Jesus.
All the way.
I'm actually going to kind of step out of the way and bring Chip out here. Please everybody say thanks to Chip for being on here and working with us. And he is honestly working really, really hard. They've just moved over extra people. They've basically changed their staffing around to try and accommodate the number of people who are joining Nadex right now through options domination. So go ahead, you'll be able to ask all your questions and so on. But I'm going to turn it over to Chip first to introduce himself and walk us through some of the fun things that only he is aware of working in the underbelly of the industry. So, Chip, the floor is yours. You can talk, and I'm going to hand the screen over to you as well.
Okay.
So you should now actually have the screen.
Okay, just click the button here.
Yep.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And you can see my screen?
Yes, everybody's saying yes.
Oh, okay, very good. Well, thanks for the introduction there. And I actually welcome the opportunity to talk to you all because if you guys understand how this all works, it's just a great way to trade with limited risk. Anyway, how I'm going to start it out with is here is our home page. And many times if you have questions, for example, if you're questioning what market you're trading on, what is the underlying product, right here, if you go here and you say you hit stock indices and you go contract specs, then you'll see what the Nadex name is, for example, US 500, and what the actual underlying market is. Here it's the CME, S&P, the ESs. So you have to remember that the binaries is really a derivative of the futures. The futures are already a derivative as well of the cash, but that is the driving force to the price action on Nadex. Now, here's our screen. I've signed into my practice account, and some of you, at first glance, I'm sure it looks a little like, what the heck is all this stuff? So, especially if you've traded binaries before at some other venues where it's pretty much just I guess we could call it an at-the-money binary, a continuous at-the-money binary that's offering some type of payout return if you're right. Now, Nadex really offers a bunch of different payoff returns, and I think how I'll start it off is trying to compare our binary that is at the money compared to some of the offshore ones. So when we first list the binaries, for example, if I wanted to trade currencies, I click over here's the Finder window. I click on the main categories, indices, forex, commodities. We got Bitcoin. Here's the underlying indicative, which I'll go to later. So I'll click on the forex binaries, the word, and then the drop down. Here are the pairs that are available. Okay, so right now I'm just going to.
Chip, just
yes?
one quick point. Can you maximize your window just so people can see?
Yeah, like that. Or is that big enough? Or?
That's good enough. I think there were just some users who said it would be better if you could maximize.
Okay, all right.
I think that parrot on the side was distracting.
Oh, okay. So we're all right. So anyway, so now we so let's say we wanted to look at the euro USD. So I find it right here. I click the word, and again, there's the drop down of all the durations available. Now right here we have a 2-hour one, 8 p.m. to 10, 9 to 11. Then we got the dailies, and then we got the weeklies. Now I've heard that some of you do like to look for the shorter time periods, and actually when you're trading these binaries, you're really giving up less edge if you're receiving or giving edge if it's not right at the money as the duration shorten. But we also, if you scroll down all the way down to the bottom, For currencies, we'd have 5-minute binaries. So, and I think there's 5 different strikes. So if we go here, Euro USD, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is available. So back up here on the Euro USD on some shorter ones. Here's a 2-hour. All the times are in Eastern time. So at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's when this is the time period of the binary is available. So you click here, and then over to the right, if you saw that all pop up, these are all the strikes available to trade the binary. Now, our binary will have a payout at expiration of $100. It's either to the buyer or the seller. If you buy the binary, you're thinking the underline is going to finish over the strike. If you're selling, you think no, it won't. Now, at expiration, Nadex is essentially third party. We're not making up the price. We go to the underline to derive the expiration value. For currencies, we're using the midpoint of the bid-ask. I believe it's a 10-pip wide spread. Reuters is our feed. We take a sample set of, let's see, it's 10, and I think we take out the top three on the up and down. It recently changed. I might be off on the number of strikes we take out, but then the remaining ones, it's a simple average, and we carry it 1 point farther, and that is what it settles to. So if that number at expiration is greater than the strike, these are the strikes right here, this whole list, high to low. If it's just a decimal point above the strike, the buyer will collect $100 per contract. If it's at the strike or less, the seller collects the payout. Okay, and that's how it's done over and over and over and over. If we do one of the indices or the commodities where the underline's a future, we're going off trades. And on those, it's 25 futures trades, 5 high, 5 low, out, middle 15, simple average, and you carry it 1 more decimal point. But that process is over and over on 5 minutes, 2 hours, weekly, daily, whatever. Okay, so let's start out and try to compare the at the money. So by knowing that it's $100, if neither party has an advantage, then kind of the fair value of a binary, if it's trading right at the strike, it should be 50. Okay? So our contracts are fully collateralized, so both parties pay for the binary when they put on a position. So if I buy it at 50, then I'm long at 50, I want it to go to 100. If the guy who sells it, he's short at 50, he wants to go to 0. Both parties are putting up $50 each. Okay, so by looking at this options chain, and really it's only in buyer's terms. If I look at here, 42 at 51, so I know this one or this one are pretty close to where the spot price is. Now over here, this is a underlying, or this is the indicative price provided by Nadex. Some people don't have the underlying prices available. This for futures especially. So what we did is this is almost like a constant moving average of the settlement process. Okay, so you can get kind of an eyeball of where the underline is. So it's 1.080. So, go ahead,
Jim. If I can just chime in and clarify a couple of things really quick. Okay. Since a lot of our users who are on here right now are not as familiar with all the financial terms necessarily, and some of them just need to go through the videos once, let me address a couple of things here. Since a lot of you might compare this with a spot option platform, for example, okay? So the difference here compared to some of the other places is, let's say you go to trade on spot option, okay? When you go over there, you say, I'm going to trade with $100 or $50 or $10 or $1,000, whatever your trade size is, right? So you say, I'm going to trade with $1,000 or $50, whatever, and you have a fixed payout. If you are right, whether you say that's going to go up or it's going to go down, you're going to get a fixed payout each time, right? Let's say it's 80%. So if you trade with $100, if you are right, you said $100 that Euro USD is going to go up. It's going to be above the current price in an hour. You will get $80 on that particular, or an 80% payout, no matter which side you chose. It's slightly different here. Okay, the difference with Nadex is that the value of each contract is always going to be $100. So the payout is predetermined to be $100 in the end. Okay, so what you're seeing over here, that's jumping on the screen, all the prices that you're seeing, you can actually enter a contract, which is basically as you entering a trade. Okay, you can enter a trade and say, I think that this will be worth more than 1.0881, in which scenario you would be paying $16.25. But that's because it's more unlikely that that's going to happen. Okay, when you pay that, at the end, if you're right, you're going to get $100. Now, note what that means. That means you can earn higher than 80% return. You can earn significantly more than 80%. You can, I mean, we already know people who have made 304% returns, 400% returns on here. This is especially good for a system like ours, where we have some signals that are issued specifically indicating a trend reversal. Okay, so when those situations happen, you basically have a chance to get in on a trade that is slightly more unlikely. So what Chip was giving you was an example of on a trade that has equal odds, so to speak, that appears to have equal odds. You know, there's no such thing as equal odds in a true market. You get in at $50 and you can make as much as $100. However, on more unlikely scenarios, you can get in for $10 and still end up making $100. Okay, so with Nadex, you don't have a fixed payout per trade. Okay, that's the first thing you have to understand. It's not a fixed payout per trade in terms of percentage. It's the fixed payout in terms of the dollar amount. At the end, it's going to be $100. If you guessed correctly, if you not guessed, but if your analysis was correct, and you said that Euro USD is going to be worth more than the strike price. The strike price is what you see over there on the left side, where it says Euro USD greater than 1.0889. Okay, if you believe that Euro USD will be greater than 1.0889 at the expiry time, which is 47 minutes away, you will buy that option because you think it'll be above that. And when you buy that option, when it ends, you are going to get $100 if the price is above 1.0889. In the end, it's exactly the same. It's just as easy. The different mechanism here is how much you get paid out and how you get the payout. And the core reason for that difference is, and Chip is actually showing you how to place an order in there. When you, for example, if you wanted to take this particular contract, then you would go in here, you would be paying $8 for it. And if in 47 minutes the Euro USD does end up at, let's say, 1.0890, so you are slightly above, in that scenario you will get $100, even though you just spent $8. Okay, so your profit in that case, the maximum profit is $92. So you can see, if you are only taking apparently unlikely trend reversal trades, you can make a whole lot more over here per trade than you could on a regular spot option platform. Because that's one of the hidden benefits of Nadex that people don't realize. Even though it looks confusing at first, once you understand, that makes sense. This at the same time, look carefully over here. In this particular scenario, your offer is $45. The bid price is $36.50, and you can see it's always fluctuating. And it'll show you when you start a ticket, it'll show you at the bottom on the left side what your maximum loss will be. That's $47.25. And on the right side, you will see your maximum profit is $60 in this case. So if you go ahead and place the order, it's just simply you taking the trade. Okay, that's really what it is. So some of this seems confusing at first, and that's why we wanted to have Chip on here. We wanted to walk you guys through this process. In the end, it's really the same mechanism. It's really the same concept. The payout mechanism is slightly different, but in the end, you're really doing the same thing. You're predicting whether or not the market will be above a certain price point or below a certain price point, and you enter a trade based on that. Okay. The indicative index number is really just telling you where the market is right now. So the further away it is from your estimation, from your prediction, the lower you will pay for it, right? Because that's how much more unlikely it is. And that's all it is. That's all that's really happening over here. So right now it's basically telling you that on the right side, on the indicative index uh, section is telling you this is the current market price for Euro USD. And then you are saying, I predict that Euro USD will be above 1.0877 or 1.000889 and so on. And you will notice that the further away you move from it, the more unlikely it becomes. The further the price has to travel, the lower you pay to take that buy option, or the higher you pay to take that sell option. Okay, it's all based on how far away it is. Now, if you have any experience with spot option, let's say with ladder trading, it's kind of the same concept in those regards. Okay, so hopefully that is a little bit clearer. Now, Chip is going to take over and explain a lot more of the background underlying things here. And the reason we are doing this, and the reason why Chip is explaining in very trader terms about this stuff, is because he needs you guys to understand the background of what's happening. It ties in with what we said about Nadex. Nadex is the true only regulated broker that we have right now for anybody in the US, especially. It's the only one regulated in the US. So he's actually trying to explain to you the background mechanisms that are happening at the same time, why they show, what their calculations are, to basically let you guys understand at the same time, even though many of you might not understand right now, that this is how they're calculating this is how it's functioning, and this is why it's so good. Okay, so I'm going to completely be silent now and saunter back into the shadows, and Chip can come in, shine his light and knowledge on everyone.
Okay, well, thank you. Very good. So one point I did want to stress, though, Nadex is an exchange, and so
yes.
we are regulated by the CFTC, and we are actually the clearing. We're self-clearing as well. But one thing I wanted to point out here is if you look at this option strip, it's really, if you buy a binary, it's really just like being long a call. All these are in the money calls, at the money calls if it's trading at 50, and these up here are out of the money calls. You look at where the underline is relative to the strike. So if the underline is over the strike, it's in the money. And that's why it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be a higher portion out of the $100 payout. Okay, if it's right, if the underline's trading at the strike, then it will be trading around 50. Neither party really has any advantage. Okay, then if the underline's below the strike, then the buyer is at a disadvantage. This underline has to go higher to finish above it, so that's why these are cheaper. Now, the bids, the offer, this is on a marketplace, and you're essentially a member on the exchange. You can put in limit orders only on Nadex. So the best bid is the highest price someone's willing to buy a binary at. The offer is the price that the lowest price that someone's willing to sell at, and this is like first level. Now, if you click on one of these levels, let's say it right here, we'll take the 1088.1. We'll go over here, and if I click on the offer price, that will give me a buy ticket. Each of these binaries are contracts. So one contract is worth $100 at expiration, and so if you have more money and they're fully collateralized. So if you want to, for example, if I wanted to trade more size, there's one lot. But if you keep on going the number of contracts, notice how it keeps on increasing. It's 10 times 22.75, and that's your cost. That's how much you're risking. And out of 100, that's how much the payout would be. Now, as a limit order, though, here I'm just going to keep it to a one lot because it's easier math for everybody. I could lower my bid price as well. So there's the spread right here, okay? So this is, if you're able to buy it at 19, you're saving money. If you want to get filled right away, you're going to lift the offer. So you could also split it and say, I'll try to buy it at 20. And so you'd place the order, something like that, okay? So there's my working order where I'm the best bid, 20 bid at 24 1/4. Okay, so one of the things that we have to look at when you're doing these binaries is it's your opinion of the underlying. Where is it going to go? It's going higher, lower, relative to that strike. Also, when are you looking for this move to happen by? Right now, this is going to expire in 39 minutes, 18 seconds. The underlying indicative right now is trading right here, 108.74. Relative to this, it's below the strike. So this differential, for it to finish in the money, you need this to be over that strike. So you're obviously bullish, and it needs to go higher. One thing to remember, though, is if it moves quickly, if it gets to the strike, fair value is going to be 50. So if you bought it at 20, let's say you bought it at 25 for me, for my math, you buy it at 25. If it gets to the strike and you still have time, then the fair value is going to be around 50. So you have a choice. Do you get out right away? That's 100% on your money. Or you wait till expiration. It depends on how strongly you feel that the underlying will continue and finish over the strike. Okay?
Yep. So just to make it a little bit clarify some things to people. So in case some of this seems over your head, because I know there's, we have 1,000 people on here. There's going to be some people who are very advanced, some people who are not very advanced. If it seems intimidating at all, don't worry, because there's going to be very, very detailed, broken down videos, and I'm adding to the back office as well. Okay, but it's very critical, if you're from the US especially, that you get used to this platform in the end, because Nadex, like I said, is the only one available. And there are a couple of benefits, and Chip, maybe you could elaborate on these couple of benefits a little bit more. There are two very strong benefits with Nadex that you will not find in other places. One is, like I said, it's not a fixed payout, so you can make a lot more per trade than a fixed percentage. Okay, like on other platforms, overseas platforms, you cannot get beyond 80% return, 85% return, no matter what. Okay, so you have to maintain a very high win rate to consistently get there. On Nadex, that's not the case. The other thing is that you can put a working order in place. So you can predefine, you can say, whenever I hit 100% return, or whenever I hit a certain price level, just cancel the order for me at that time, or get me out of the trade at that time. That allows you to set these things up in advance, so that you can actually just go about your business, and when it becomes profitable for you, the trade is closed, you walk away with profit. You don't have to sit there and worry about what's going to happen over the next 55 minutes or so.
So there's a working order.
Yep. So Chip can show that. There you go. So Chip just set one of those up, and that's been set for a price of 40. And Chip, if you just want to walk through really quick what's happening in the background there, and how that functions, and basically is a very, very good tool for you guys to even further automate some of your trading aspects and keep you even safer. You don't have to worry about what happens if I'm in profit, but in the last 5 minutes the price goes down. You can set it up so that when you are in significant profit, you walk away with 100% or whatever profit immediately, without even waiting for the expiry time to arrive.
Right. Okay. So on this position here, we executed this Euro USD greater than 1 spot 088.1. It's going to expire at 10 p.m. When we put it on, we bought one, and $20 was the cost. That is the maximum risk you have. So when you're putting these on and you're comfortable with the risk, you can go off and do whatever you want, lunch or golf or whatever. And if you, depending on how long the duration is, if it's a daily, maybe you check it at noon. If it's going to be expiring in 35 minutes, well, you don't have a lot to do. But what here we did, we're long it. We bought it at 20. We wanted to go higher. If we're wrong, we're going to lose 20. But if it does rally, I put in an order here to sell it at 40 to get out of the trade. Now, if I thought, okay, it's starting to move, maybe I'll raise it up a quarter, amend order. Okay, so you just limit orders you can put in there, and you can just, if you're comfortable with the risk, you can go ahead and let it go. Say you had a couple of positions on. You could maybe cover your costs on a profit and let another one go till expiration. But at the time of the trade, when you put on the trade, that's when there is a fixed payout. So if I bought it at 50, my net profit's going to be 50, so that's going to be 100%. Now, granted, you have to realize that there's the bid offer. Now, if you're able to get the bid, if you're able to get the offer, it's going to be quite difficult. As we grow, maybe that will happen. But you do have to realize that this bid offer up here is constantly changing. So but if you're able to buy a price at 50, then your net profit will be 50, and that would be 100%. Now, and that would be very close to an at the money. Now, you do pay fees at Nadex. So if you on a per contract basis, so it's 90 cents in and then 90 cents out. Now, so it's $1.80 round turn. So that would be taking that percent return down a little bit. But it is capped at 10 contracts. So if you're doing 10 lot or greater, it's 9 in, 9 out, and that's the cap on it. Okay? So, but as we were talking earlier, if you're doing these out of the money binaries and you're bullish, or if you're in a second, I'll show you how you sell it. But if you buy it where it's less than 50, then your return is going to be greater than 100%. So if I pay 20 to make net 80, and I'm right at expiration, that's a 400% return. So all these are choices, and all these are depending on where the underline is relative to the strike. Are you paying? You're paying for the advantage if I'm a buyer and the underline is over the strike, like an in the money call, then I'm paying for that advantage. That advantage is underlines over the strike. I have a higher probability that I'm going to receive a favorable outcome at expiration. If I pay 50 and the underline is trading right at the strike, then the buyer doesn't have an advantage, seller doesn't have an advantage. Now, if I'm paying less than 50, then that's telling me that the underline is below the strike, and I'm at a disadvantage. Okay, so if somebody's selling a binary, it's very similar to long put. It's a cost. Okay, so it's two sides of the trade. So the other side of the trade, if somebody is selling, here, let's pick this one. If I sell 1850s, notice my cost here, max loss. I would be short at a price of 1850. I want the underline to go. I want the underline to finish below the strike. I'm short. Okay, so my risk is to the upside, so it's 1850 to 100, and that's why my cost is 8150. If you look at the underline indicative, 8719, where is that? Is it below or above? It's below the strike. So who would have the advantage? As a seller, I want the underline to finish below the strike, right? So if I have the advantage initially, and as a seller you want it below, that is why it costs me more, 8150. Compare that to the buyer. The buyer is at the disadvantage. It's just the flip. 8719. Here's the strike. He has to finish. The buyer wants it to finish over this strike, right? So his cost is 1850 to make 8150. The seller is just the reverse. These contracts are fully collateralized, so both parties combined equal the payout. The exchange essentially is the matching engine for the buyer and seller of the price. Okay?
Okay, is that clear to everyone? If it's clear, just say yes.
we can do another one, because I'll tell you right now, I came from the futures and options background quite a while ago, but when I first came on board, I kept on selling binaries and kept on expecting to receive premium. And if you think of it as a put, it's a long put, it costs. And think of it at the trade price. If you're short at the trade price, where's your risk? To the upside. So your cost is the difference between where the price to 100. Your profit, you want it to go to 0. So really your trade price as a seller is your profit.
Yep. This may be a horrible analogy. Stop me if it is. Okay. But in a way, it's like, let's say that 5 guys are running a race, and you say, all right, let's take a bet who's going to win. One guy says, I'm going to bet on the guy who's first already, okay, who's leading the pack. Okay, obviously he's not going to get as much on the payout because he's taking the bet on the guy who's already ahead. The other guy says, well, I choose the guy who's in the very end, okay, right now. In that scenario, he will likely get the highest payout, right? Because if that guy wins, he might get a 5:1 payout or whatever. It's kind of the same thing happening here. Let's look at the left column. You look at the contract column. You have Euro USD. And I'm going to put this in context of options domination. So you guys come in there, and the bell goes off or whatever. You're sitting over there, and you see there's a Euro USD trade that has come in. And let's say that our system says that Euro USD is going to be above, okay, at that moment the strike price, let's say, is 1.0881. Okay, so let's say that our signal comes in and says it'll be above 1.0881. And remember that we also give you an indication of a better entry price. Okay, now that signal comes in, you look in here, and our system says that it's going to end at this hour. Okay, it'll be at the end of the hour. And remember that those signals are issued within the first 5 minutes of the signal usually. Okay, so you come in here and you look at this and you find a Euro USD greater than 1.0881. You look at what will it cost me for a buy. Okay, buy in this case will be $15 for you. And at the end of the hour, when this expires, if the signal was correct, in which in our cases over 65% of those are correct, if the signal is correct, then you will have received, you can see down there, your max profit would be 85, your max loss will be 15. So those are very, very helpful situations for you, because that's a situation where a signal was issued and your payout will be significantly higher than, let's say, 80%. In those scenarios, you don't even need a 60% win rate because your payout is so significantly high. The other thing that you get to do in scenarios like this is, let's say a signal comes in, and let's say an end of the day signal comes in, or any type of signal comes in. You do not have to get in immediately, right? Note that there's a signals video above the signals table, shows you how to do some simple analysis, right? Let's say that analysis says that Euro USD should drop down a little bit more before it goes above 1.0881. So what you're basically doing then is you're waiting for it to drop down a little bit more, and that will give you an even higher payout, right? Because the price for you will drop down. So at this moment, for example, the price is $14.50 for you to get in. Right, but let's say we waited and the market goes down a little further. Right now, the price of Euro USD is 1.08722, and that's why it's costing you $14.50. But you wait a little bit longer. You wait for it to get to 1.0871. At this point, it might only cost you $9 or $8. Then you enter the trade, because remember, even though the signal that came from us says end of the hour it will expire, you can get in whenever. You don't have to get in at the minute that the signal came in. You can get in 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, just before the trade expires in Nadex. When you get in like that, you are spending $9 or $10 and you're making $100, right? So in those trades, you can have, I mean, it sounds insane, but you can have 1,000% return because you spent $10 and made $1,000. So that's how it ties in with the signals that we issue to you. Now, there are also certain, like I said before, we also issue some Nadex specific signals. Those are very rare. But when those come in, we actually include like a stop loss level. We tell you, put a working order in place or sell early right now because we suspect that the momentum has been lost or things like that. So those are going to be, more specific trades just for Nadex. But you can already interpret the signals we issue to you for Nadex and do it very, very successfully. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. We had an individual who in the first week already made over $4,000 trading on Nadex because your payouts are so much higher, right? So that's one of the important things over there. So let me clarify one more time what strike price is. Strike price is you saying that at the end, 24 minutes from now, the price will be above or below this level. That's basically what a strike price is. In this case, we are saying it's going to be above 1.0889, or chip is right now on 1.0889, for example. Again, let's say a racer is running a race, and you are standing with your friend. You say, I think this guy is so fast. He's gonna end this race in less than 4 minutes. He's gonna have a time of less than 4 minutes. And your friend says, nah, I think it's gonna take him more than 4 minutes. That's basically what the strike price is. In that case, the strike is 4 minutes. Over here, our strike price is 1.0889. So if 23 minutes and 33 seconds from now, the price of Euro USD is above 1.0889, that means it closed above the strike price, and the buyer wins because the buyer said it'll be above, okay, and buying means that he's saying it'll be in favor of this, and therefore the buyer will win. In this scenario, if the buyer would spend $8 but can make up to $92, okay, that's why the more unlikely the scenario, the better it is. The stronger the trend reversal, the better it is. Now, can you guys think of a situation where you can imagine a very strong movement will happen in one direction or another for a particular currency in a short period of time? A very simple example would be in cases of news. Let's say a news announcement just comes out. Yeah, NFP is a good example. Thank you, Elizabeth. But if there is news, you will see very strong movements in a currency in one way or another. So there's going to be a special section where I teach how to do news trades and trade with the news with speculation and so on. The biggest benefit of trading on Nadex with those news scenarios is the payout. Again, since you can have such an extreme level of payout, you could win only 1 out of your 15 trades and still end up profitable in some scenarios. Okay, obviously you would win a lot more than 1 in 15 trades, but that's one of the benefits of Nadex. So while everybody, if you go online and you start researching binary options, most people will talk about how simple binary options are. They would be somewhat wrong. You need a lot of analysis, and there's a time decay aspect here. But they will say, oh, spot option is so much easier, or some of the other platforms are so much easier. And then they'll say, but if you're in US, trade on Nadex because Nadex is regulated. My position is you should trade on Nadex because it's regulated. Obviously, yes, great. But Nadex gives you the ability to get a much higher payout as well if you understand how to use the system properly. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm so like, okay, I understand what's happening here. Pick Chip's brain as much as you can, because my brain you can pick whenever. Okay, Chip is only able to get on right now, and he can walk you guys through this. So that's one of the big reasons why I'm insistent you guys understand what he's talking about right now.
Well, I could come back again if need be. But one of the other points that I heard.
Well, we have other webinars to do, so I don't know about
that. Okay, whatever. Anyway, but for example, if you did get a signal, and I'm really not, well, I'm in the exchange, so I can't give any advice, other than if this is your level, and if the time period is, okay, it's going to happen by 10 a.m. Eastern time. I mean, you really have to pay attention on the time periods that matching your price level that it needs to be. You don't want to be in a weekly and you still got the option on it, it's hardly moving. But if this is the level, then essentially this is the top one, and it just needs to be a decimal point over, and the buyer gets the payout. But all these below are possibilities. This one it's the nut to get over is just that much easier. So you have to think about that as well. This is the level, but what if it only gets to like 0880? Well, you give yourself a little more insurance, you're paying a little more. So it just depends on your risk profile, how you like to do it. Okay, but all these could be a possibility. And obviously these three right here are in the money because they're greater than 50. Okay?
Yeah. And then let's clarify one more thing, because I think everybody only saw one example from Chip for a sell trade, and you might think that you always have higher risk on sell. It's the exact opposite. Chip, if you want to open a ticket for Euro USD greater than 1.0861, you can click on that, please. 0861.
0861. Okay, right here.
Yeah.
All right. So this essentially, if you think calls and puts, so if a call is in the money, what's that mean to the put? It's out of the money, put. So the concept, the view here is we only have one option chain. We don't have a call chain. We don't have a put chain. So it's in the buyer's view. But if I want to sell 91 and a quarters, okay, price-wise, that's the. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I saw some note on there. Okay. So here's the ticket here. So if I sell 91 and a quarter trade price, it only costs me $8.75. My profit, if I'm right, where underline has to be at, or actually it's it needs to sell off. Obviously, it's right here. We have to definitely get some legs on this. But if the expiration value is at the strike or lower, I'm picking up, what is it, 91.25. Now think of this. If the underline starts to move and go, and it doesn't even have to get to the strike where fair value, if the underline gets to the strike before time, then it's going to be 50. But if it starts to sell off, okay, guess what? This price, I'm short at 91 and a quarter. This price is going to go down. Maybe it's 70, maybe it's 60. That's profit, and put that in percentage terms. I mean, you don't have to get married to these positions.
Yep. Now, Chip, is there any problem if I just taught something really quick? That might. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a very quick example, and we'll keep it on this ticket because it'll make a lot of sense to you. So remember, we are saying that if there's a sell-off, if the price of Euro USD ratio, if that drops to 1.0861 or less, then you stand to profit $92 at the cost of 8. Now, note that it's only 17 minutes away, right? The expiry is 17 minutes away. Now, imagine a scenario where in the next 17 minutes, a news is about to come out, a news report is going to come out that will either adversely affect the euro or will make the USD stronger. In both of those scenarios, the price of Euro USD will drop dramatically. Okay, this kind of a drop of 5 pips or something is not. It's like you can see that happen in like less than a minute. Okay, that happens at times. So it's kind of critical that you understand that this can be really easily exploited. I'm not saying that you can exploit Nadex. I'm just saying that this is a very good system that you have for binary options that you can get in for a very, very small price. You can take a speculative trade, and if you're purely speculating, again, you have very bad guesswork. Okay, let's say you're throwing the darts and you're just horrible at it, and you're only right 30% of the time. Because of the payout difference, you can be very strongly profitable over time. Okay, that's one of the key things that I want you guys to get from this, and that's why even if you're international, even if you're an international user, you really want to get into Nadex. You really want to work with Nadex for that aspect. If you're used to working on spot option, there's something called ladder trades on there. You can use those. Okay, I'll be doing a whole training just on ladder trading as well on there. But you guys really need to get this, because this is no longer just, oh, you're right 70% of the time and you get 80% payout, you're profitable over time. This is, you can be right 1 in every 10 trades and you can still be profitable. I'm not advocating that, but I'm just telling that if you understand how the markets move, if you time everything correctly, if you use our signals combined with some basic analysis, which I've already taught in there and I'm going to teach more of, and then you use this in market situations like a news report, it is very difficult for you guys not to be profitable if you're disciplined about how you're trading. Now, Chip, there's one question, which is how much volume do we need in the market? How many users does Nadex have right now? Will we ever run into an issue, let's say, of we purchase a contract and there is nobody on the other side? Can that happen?
Well, we have two market makers right now that are quite large that sometimes you may have where the I call them buckets or whatever, that the bucket is wiped out, but it will be repopulated very shortly. It can happen where it disappears, but then another offer or another bid will be coming back in, and we are talking to other market makers in discussions as well. So
okay, very cool. Which again is good for all of you guys as the user, because that means more volume for you. You don't have to get stuck in between trades and things like that. Chip, can we run over a couple of things very quickly?
Yeah.
One, how would an international person go about setting up an account? What are their funding options? What they can do for that? And then the other thing that I want to go over is how you would take trades for a different expiry or an early expiry. Okay, we'll walk through that quickly as well. But just walk through the process that an international user would go through to get an account at Nadex, and just the benefits they get when they call in and they say they will, with options domination. What you do other than being upset
we're
with them.
certainly going to try to keep the option domination guys all happy. For that is for sure. Now, but when you open up an account, you'll go here. And just start filling this out, and then as for what countries are available where we can accept applications, these are all the countries. Now, as for funding, I'm not positive on as you fill this out, it'll tell you if it needs to be wires or I think we're taking on debit cards as well here shortly. As for checks, I'm not positive. I can find out and let you know on that one. Okay.
Sounds good.
Great. Yes. And then how does it play out for taxation? One for the U.S. users, how does that work, and for international members?
As for, I don't know on international members, but we do not keep any, we don't withhold any taxes. And our instruments are designated as a swap. And the advice is, so it's not a futures, it's a swap. So as for tax advice, we have to, you go to the professionals for that, for the help. We're not,
equipped for it.
We can't give it.
Right, and that's the point.
Really
Nadex
dig ourselves in a grave, or you know what I mean. So
yes. So Nadex on their side don't keep any funds, and Nadex on their side do not have any specific tax policy for you guys. You just have to kind of see depending on your situation where you are. That's basically it, right?
I think you're going to have to talk to the tax people in the designated country, but we are not withholding any taxes on it. So,
Okay, beautiful. That is very helpful, I'm sure. Nobody likes taxes with that necessarily.
Well, right. So it's you whatever. Just the taxes. It's just like I'm not allowed to say.
So since it makes you so uncomfortable,
it's just killing me.
Can we keep the conversation about taxes? Everybody will have a tax-only webinar with Chip tomorrow.
No more tax questions, please, Jesus.
Okay, so how do withdrawals work? How can international users, how do they receive withdrawals? When they're profitable and they pull out profits.
Okay, so. How about if I talk about the U.S. and then I'd have to double check on the procedures. I would assume the procedures are the same, but I'm really not up on the outside of the U.S. But for withdrawals, if you deposit funds, ACH, e-check, all that stuff, you have to wait 14 days before you can withdraw funds. After that, you can withdraw funds as soon as if you deposit wires, then As long as if it's deposit wires, then the money's there. After the 14 days, boom, take it in, take it out. If it's a check, then or an ACH, then as long as after the first 14 days as a member, then after that, as long as the funds have cleared, you can take them out as often as you want. And the settlements on Nadex almost happen instantaneously, cash settled. Okay, so it's not like in equities or where regulation T2 or or it's instant to your account, all cash settled. But I guess the thing you got to keep remembering about the binaries is it's all about the relationship of the underlying to a strike and the time period, and you're trading a price between 0 and 100. It's going up and down, and so it's kind of a derivative of that relationship. And it's just the midpoint 50s, the ats, and just keep it like that. Now, one thing that you can find interesting is if the underlying, as they get closer and closer to expiration, if the outcome by the marketplace is figuring, okay, buyer's going to get it, well, then it's going to be 97 bid, no offer. Okay, the outcome is predictable. Buyer's going to get it. The payout's going to the buyer, it's going to go out at 100. Or vice versa, if the seller's going to get it, where it's so far below the strike, then it'll be 3 offer, no bid. But when it's up for grabs, who knows how it's going to happen? When the underlying is close to that close to this strike price, this is when you see the gamma play. This is, well, if you think about it, think about the price of the binary getting pulled on both ends, 100 or 0. Which is it going to be? So what happens is a small movement of the underlying price, percentage-wise, can have a huge impact on the binary pricing. Okay, and so there's an opportunity here. Some people don't want to stomach it, but if you look at the difference where, hey, this price of the euro is 877, and how many pips is that? Okay, that's 3 pips away, or 5 pips away. Well, I know it can move that, and I'm going to try to buy that or sell that. So if it's getting up to maybe 85 and I want to sell it, you see where I'm going? If you're going towards the extreme and you look how far that edge is, and that edge that you give or receive gets less and less and less as it gets closer to expiration, there's opportunities there. And you don't have to be married to the position. So say I sell, here, let's see. Say I sell, say I sell this one. Okay, my cost is $12.75. Place the order, and then as soon as I get that, I want to turn around. It's got 6 minutes. Where was it? So I'm short, so I'll try to buy it back at 50. And see, and you do things like that. But that towards the end of as it gets closer and closer to expiration, there can be some serious price movement. And this is what happens on the 5 minutes, and this is why some people really like those. So down here, if you go down here and you see 4x 5-minute binaries, this is 35 seconds going here. So they're out now.
Yeah, and these are very useful too, because for one, guys, you know that we issue a turbo signal. That's a 5-minute signal. But there's a new signal stream that I'll also be issuing here over this coming week, which is a 1-minute signal stream. Now, the purpose of the 1-minute signal stream is obviously you can go trade on other platforms where they have 60-second trades. Okay, but the trades that will be coming in with the 1-minute stream are specifically at the open and close of the minute. Okay, so it's not going to be at at 30 seconds into a minute or 20 seconds into a minute. It's going to come exactly at the end or beginning of a new minute. You can actually trade those on the 5-minute binaries really well too, because when you see a 5-minute binary that's available, that has 1 minute left, that has 60 seconds left, and you find one that is close to the price that we issued, you can actually enter those. And again, I'll make a video detailing this process and showing you in a bit more specifics on that. But again, all of our signals have different places. Some of them are suited better for other platforms. Some of them are suited really well for Nadex. You really want to gauge when a signal comes in, you need to come and look at what contracts are available in Nadex and see which ones are going to be a very profitable trade for you. In terms of does it look like I'm going to make a pretty strong return on this? And looking at the analysis, the very basic analysis that I've already gone over, that combined with a signal, does it look like I have a pretty good odds of winning this? Because if you do, based on your analysis, and you can make a greater than 100% return on the trade, then you have a very strong winning formula. Remember, you don't need to take 10 trades a day to be profitable. You just need to take 2 or 3 good trades. That's really what you should be focusing on right now. The one very quick thing that I want to show you guys, Chip, I'm going to move the screen back to you right after I get done here. Okay, so give me 1 second, and I'm going to switch the screen right back to you.
Okay.
So what's going to happen here very soon, guys? So I'm logged into the options domination signals table. I'm looking at a signals table right now. Okay, you can see right here is a new box. It's called the news feed box. Okay, now I've actually removed all the news from here. I wasn't planning on showing this earlier today, but I think it's very pertinent. What you'll be able to see is you'll see news feed coming in over here on different currency pairs, and it'll tell you what the potential impact of that's going to be. And you can actually time these on Nadex. So you can actually use these by themselves, and then you'll see a second type of stream coming in here, not signals with a fixed price, but it'll show you market condition, where it'll say, for example, that Euro JPY right now is severely overbought. It's going to fall. Okay, so it's just a matter of you going to Nadex, finding a good payout. Okay, you'll find a trade that has a good payout available, and you will take just that trade. So if the news feed comes in that something's going to happen with JPY, it'll tell you which direction it's going to go into, based on what we're looking at. And then at the same time, another type of market analysis is going to be issued to you, which will tell you what you should be doing, what the current market looks like. With those, you don't even have to wait for a specific signal to arrive. You can just go to Nadex, look at what contracts are available, and which one seems like a reasonably good payout for a reasonable amount of risk. Okay, and all of this will be covered in greater detail for you. But hopefully, you guys got a very good idea of how that would work out over here. Okay, that the fact that you don't need a very high win rate. Now let's switch to the other side. Okay, Chip, I'm moving the screen back to you. Okay. I'm going to switch over to the other side at the same time, which is we showed some of the trades where you would have $8, $10 risk, but you would have a $90 payout. Let's look at the other side. Should you be taking trades that have a $96, $97 cost just because it looks like you might look at it and go, oh, this has a very strong odd of winning? Okay, here is my position on that. Okay, everything to me is a numerical thing. It has to be mathematically justifiable. So when I look at those trades where there's a very strong chance, the price is currently in one location, you have to understand something. That price here, the $97 or $93, so let's look at this one, like USD JPY greater than 118.4. Okay, 118.4. You see that the offer is 97.75. Okay, basically it appears like you have very strong odds in favor of the buyer, right? That's exactly what it means, right, Chip?
Yes, you can actually. Some people say that these are equivalent to delta, the pricing of the delta or probability. So this binary is essentially, it's really the midpoint of the bid-ask, but we'll just say it's 97% probability that this binary is going to work out. But it's right here at this time, and I would not get too caught up in that.
Yes. So that's actually one of the points I was going to get to. If you can clarify this one thing for us in a little bit more detail as well. This price that's over here is primarily based on the differential. It doesn't take into account any of the underlying market conditions, right? Like if there is momentum building on one side, or if there's something about to come out in the news and so on. it ignores those things, if I'm correct.
Right, right. Well, it's really it's
simply
really
deducting from the
it's
price
option
currently.
pricing. There's some it's
Yep.
probably some variation of Black-Scholes, but there's some nuances with binaries versus regular calls and puts, but it's some version of that. So
Okay. So here's what that basically means. What that means is that even though it says 98, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a 98% chance of winning, because there are underlying market conditions that when you go and look at your analysis, when you look at the candlestick analysis or whatever, you might discover that it's approaching an overbought level already, and it might not actually end up above 118.4. Okay, so then in those scenarios, you look at this, and your natural tendency might be to say, I have a 97%, 98% chance of winning. It's not really a chance of winning. It's the differential between the indicative index price and the strike price. So my perception has always been, it takes one of these bad trades to wipe out your wins from 20 of these good trades, right? So I don't like those odds usually. That's just been my position. To me, mathematically, it's a matter of not what does the price say here, it's what does the analysis show in the background regarding this price. Is the price in the next 16 hours and 58 minutes expected to be above this volume? Not because of where it is now, but because of our analysis. That's what you got to be looking at. Because if you just go purely by numbers, and I already know some people on the call are thinking like that. They're like, "Oh, I'll just take every trade that says 98 because that means I'll win, all the time. And even if I'm making just $2 per trade, I'm still profitable." Now you would be thinking very unwisely if you were thinking like that. You have to combine this with analysis. This is not look at the number and pick one and go with it.
you're exactly right. You're exactly right, because some people do this. Where I'll pay 93 here and pick up $7, or 98 and pick up 2, and actually that doesn't even make sense when the fees are 90 cents in, 90 cents out. But it really is, the driving force is the underlying. That is where you want to have your market opinion, and you're really looking, where's the underlying, where's the strike, how much of an edge am I paying for, and when is this going to expire? And it's really, am I comfortable with the risk to the payout? Does it make sense given my underlying market view? And it's just plain simple like that. Now, when you do pay for a higher probability trade, meaning a higher cost proportionally out of 100, would tend to be when the markets are flat. They could be kind of similar to a credit spread, where I'm paying 75 to make 25, but the underline's just been moving sideways. In that sense, time decay is actually working in your favor on a binary because it's already in the money. You want it to fly. But on big volatility things, you are expecting big volatility moves, blah blah blah. You want the cheap options. You don't want to be risking that higher cost. You'd want to buy 10, 17, something less than 50. So, or your cost. You can sell it as long as your cost is less than 50, either direction.
Yep. Does that make sense, guys? So if you go back to our analogy of the 5 people running in a race, and you're trying to guess who's going to win, let's say that you know that the guy in the third place right now is just a late sprinter. In the end, he's going to pull in a sprint, and he's going to leave everybody in the dust, right? In that scenario, even though he's in the third place right now, you're not going to treat him like a third place runner. You're going to treat him like a guy with a very strong chance of win. So that's what we're talking about. We're saying you need to actually analyze a little bit more than just who's in the first, second, third, fourth place, who's furthest from the finish line. We're not looking at just that. That's what these numbers, the bid and offer numbers, are kind of indicating how far somebody is from the finish line. The guy in the last place is the furthest from the finish line, so you're going to have the lowest offer price on him. The guy who's in the first place is closest to the finish line, so he's going to have the highest offer price, because in layman's perspective, in normal observation, he has the highest odds. But does he really? Because once you start analyzing and breaking down things, you're like, oh, the guy in third place is a late sprinter. The guy in second place has low stamina, and things start changing. So really all you need to do is, like I said, let the analysis be done in the options domination side. Let the platform handle all of that for you. confirm a signal, come over here, and pick the signal, pick the strike price that is closest to our prediction that is given in a signal, and only take ones where you have a good payout estimation, where you're going to make 100% or more on those trades, and then you have a lot more leeway because you could actually be winning only 55% of the time and still be dramatically profitable. Okay, so
so it's these on up is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, those are,
yeah.
And just depending on what our trade says, right? Remember, if our signal comes in and says USD/JPY will go down, then you take the sell trade. In that case, you're looking at those down now. Yes.
Exactly. From here on down, and the ones that are higher prices farther out of the money. So the cost is. So if I sell this one, it's only $4. If I sell this one, it's going to be 31. It doesn't have, the underlying doesn't have to sell off as far. It's just you're giving up edge, and that's what it is. So
exactly. It's you guys. Honestly, this might sound a little bit complex when you see this happening, and you hear from somebody like Chip, who is using terms, and you look at me like, oh, this guy's an Indian. He just gets mad. Honestly, I'm telling you, grew up in India. People don't get mad necessarily. But I'm just telling you, honestly, you get through this, start using it a few times, and you will see how easy it actually is. All that's happening right now is you're looking at a screen and you see all these flashing lights and all this stuff is going on. You're like, oh, no, these guys are trying to like give me an epileptic seizure or something. That's why it seems confusing. Go in, get a free demo account. Nadex offers demo accounts. Go there, get a demo account.
Here's where you'd go on that. To get the demo, you're going to go right here and hit demo. Type in on the right of the demo dash, type in your username, first name, last name, phone number, email address that you want to receive your password, and hit apply, and that's it. And I would probably, it's very quick, and I would suggest when you're practicing, I'd probably start on the buy side first, and you just say, okay, what if the underlying market was going to go to 121? Okay, what would I do? All right, so, or not 121. Let's say 120, 20 here. Okay, well I could buy it. One contract. Okay, 575 is my cost to make 94.25. Okay, what about this one? Buy one. And the offer price gives you a buy ticket right away. And so after you kind of get used to that idea, then you can try doing it the other way, selling. But just always think of them as the buyer's cost and the seller's cost added up together will equal the payout of $100, and the trade price kind of splits it between the portions. You know, if I'm short, I want it, the trade price, I want it to go to 0. If I'm long, the trade price, the binary trade price, I want it to go to 100. It's just, this is the scale that these binaries trade on per contract, and it's just, that's how it works.
Beautiful.
Hitesh.
And again, guys, yes.
Maybe one good example, like if you would just go back and just emphasize how pretty much we're always dependent on the signal that you're generating, because just like my father-in-law, him getting into this and having actually a great day the other day, and he said, I just have to trust and depend on what the signal is that's been generated. And so if you go back and look at your signals chart for the, let's see, the Australian and CAD, where
one sec, Chip, I'm going to take over the screen so we can show what Jason is talking about. Yes. So we're looking at the signals.
So you see the strike is 97763, but then you said it would even go to 97795, but yet you're still kind of put. So just like you explained before, you could maybe enter at the strike at a trade where, you know, once again, you're getting at one price, but if you see it's going up still, but you know it's still in a call that you're saying it's going to be a put, you can get that contract at a better price.
Yes. So this is very critical, and actually there's something that I'm working on right now in the background, which I think will make a very critical difference for you guys who are going to trade on Nadex or you're going to use ladder trading. So you notice here in the signal table, thank you for bringing this up, Jason. I didn't even think about this. Even though this is specifically, I put it in here and then I kind of forgot about it. Yep. So you see over here that we said that the strike price, at the moment that we issued the signal, at that time, the price was 97763. And we said that the price at the end of the hour, okay, at 20 GMT, the price will end up below this price. Okay, and you see that it ended up at 97702. Okay, so we we're right by quite a good margin. But I also said in the signal over here, we also issued a secondary analysis and we said, based on the short-term momentum though, it looks like the price could go up as much as 97795 before it reverses completely. Okay, now again, this is a might happen. This is not what has already happened. While this has already happened, this is the price right now. So you could go to Nadex and you could find a contract that is AUD CAD for 9776, okay, and you would take a sell contract in that scenario, okay, a sell contract for 97763. The other thing you could do, okay, and if AUD CAD is not available there, just imagine this was a different scenario with a different currency pair that was available. But note that I'm showing you the laps here, the margin over here. And I'm actually going to be including some pretty advanced statistics here soon on the signals table, telling you that with MR1 or MR2, our usual pip margin is this much, our victory is this much. So here's what happens. When you take a sell for 9776, okay, let's say you're getting that for 50, okay, because it's pretty close to 50-50 odds based on the Nadex calculation. The price difference is 50. But you could do two things now. You could wait for the price to rise higher and then enter a contract for below 9776, in which case you will actually be paying less than 50. You will be paying maybe 40 and getting 60. Okay, so you have now increased your payout. But the second thing you can do is, you'll know from our analysis, let's say from our statistics that you're going to see here soon, hopefully in a couple of weeks, you're going to see the statistics and it's going to tell you, usually on MR1, our victory margin is 7 pips or more. So then what you would do is you would buy the sell on a contract. You would take the sell position for not 9776 but for 977, let's say 2. Okay, now we ended up at 9770. Okay, so even though you took a position for 9772, which might only cost you 15 and pay you 85, you end up winning that. Okay, so you could actually do what we call trade splitting, and I talked about it a little bit in the second video. You'll notice there are 2 videos up here. I talked about it in the second video a little bit. And I said you can split your trade like this. You can enter one contract at this price with a very safe, it's going to end up below 9776. You can enter another contract at a higher position and say it's going to end up below 9776. You can enter a third contract at 9776 for below 9772. What's going to happen is, if you're going to have one super safe one, you end up winning that, great. But every now and then, it won't be all the time, and it'll be less than 60%, 65% of the time, because that's our general win rate. But if you only, and this is pure math, okay, this is not a guarantee of income or anything like that, it's pure math. If you end up winning your trade where you took the big differential, where you entered at 9779 and you took the trade for less than 9772, you will have like a 800 to 900% payout in some of those scenarios. It will make up for, you could have an entirely losing day. You could lose every trade, but you could win one of those and you end up in a massive profit because of that. Again, I'm not saying that is the only way to trade or that is the way to trade. I'm telling you guys that this is a Nadex strategy, and that's why I have the secondary strike price available to let you guys know there is a better entry position potentially coming that might allow you to make a better profit on that trade. It's like, let's say you were going to sell something on eBay, and I do a secondary analysis and say, hey, hold on, this thing is about to become really scarce. The supplier has stopped making it. So hold off, sell it a week from now instead, and you will get twice the money for it. That's basically what this is telling you. This is telling you, hold off a little bit, sell it, a few minutes from now, take the sell, and you will end up making more money. So that's actually a very unique way to use this as well. hopefully you guys can see. I mean, we are like thinking through things and trying to come up with very good ways that kind of give you more than just one way to be victorious. It's not just about having good analysis, having the right signal and enter the trade. This is also about risk management combined with just significantly higher payouts on certain trades. So it just works out really well overall like that. Okay, so this question was addressed by Chip, but Chip, I hope you can address this a little bit more clearly. Now, options domination is already the largest trading and signals platform in this industry, and we've been around for a week and we haven't opened to the world yet. Okay, we're about to open up to the world. In that scenario, we'll obviously have a lot of people who will be taking these signals. What happens, Chip, if we have 20,000 options domination users coming in and taking similar trades?
It would be you'd move the market. That is true. Yeah, but I'm not going to try to fib to you. You definitely move the market, but with that type of activity, then there will be more interest in with other market makers wanting to join. A lot of market makers have been observing this and are it's the chicken or the egg, and our growth just continues to keep on going. I would suggest that you're always using a limit order when you put it on. Here is one point that I do want to address, is that we have contracted market makers making two-sided markets. Now, they will stop quoting, I think it's 2 minutes before on everything except the short terms, the 20 and 5, and then I think it might be 1 minute prior to expiration on those. So what happens is the bids offers disappear other than the other members' limit orders. So if you have a position on that is in the money, don't panic. Realize what it is, because on your P&L you'll be looking at your open position and it's going off the best. It's going off to be able to get out of the trade. So what if you bought it at 20 and it was 97 bid, no offer, so it's showing you a $77 profit, but then all of a sudden the markets of the market makers pull, and some guys got in a $10 bid just sitting there. He never got filled. Well, then your position where you bought it at 20 is going to show you a $10 loss. So it's important to understand where the underline is. It's very important to understand this relationship of where the underline is relative to the strike, and don't get caught in that. Okay? Is it?
Yeah.
You clear on that?
Yeah. Well, I'm clear on it, but hopefully everybody else is clear. I'm sorry. Some of this stuff I'm like, yeah, I got it, but then I'm like, no, let's hold on. Did everybody else get it? Essentially, it's just a matter of sometimes because the volume in the market and everything else that's going on, you'll have open orders or whatever, and you will see these bid-in offers will disappear,
right?
And it will look like it'll just look like everything is shut down, and then you won't be able to see anything, and you'll kind of you might panic. And Chip is just saying, don't panic. It's still there in the background.
It's still open, and and you can still put in orders to try to entice other people trading as well. But it's just the contracted market makers will tend to pull right at the, they're obligated up to 2 minutes. They stay longer. I just saw where it was like 30 seconds right before on the 5 minutes or something. So they tend to stay longer, but I'm just saying the obligation of their contracts. The other thing is the 5 minute binaries on the top of the hour, 5 minutes prior to the top of the hour, there's no 5 minutes listed there, because there's other expirations going on at the same time, and they can't have it. So it's just that 55 to top of the hour is not available ever for the 5 minutes. Otherwise, it goes around the clock.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
All it is guys, you just when you're entering trades, you just want to enter it with plenty of time. Just don't think you're going to enter in the last 5 minutes on an end of the hour trade. That's basically in summary. That's what the practical application would be. But if you have entered trade already, don't panic because it's going to be taken care of. Okay, that's all it is. So Chip is just letting you know about that because that is a concern that people have once they actually start trading. They're like, oh, what just happened? Now, hopefully one thing that I want to do is I'm actually going to obviously have a video back here where I'm going to walk through taking an actual signal on Nadex. It's just that my own personal situation has been kind of interesting the last week, so I haven't been able to make that video yet. But I'll have a video where I'll walk through that. I'll also make a video specifically showing how to do a news trade on Nadex and how to get better results overall. Okay, so we'll do all of that stuff. Hopefully, though, you guys got enough from tonight that you understood the potential behind what you can do by combining the signals over here and Nadex in this particular scenario. Now, obviously, you can also do somewhat similar things on a ladder setting, and I'll walk through that with you guys later, and some of the other places too. But now you can understand why we are like, oh, you need to use Nadex because there are extra strategies available for you over here. It's regulated, it's an exchange. You always have collateral in place. You don't have to worry about the broker runs away with your money or something like that. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about price manipulation or something because the broker is the one against you. You don't have to worry about those things either. So those are some of the good things about Nadex. Obviously, that make a very big reason for that. That's a very big reason in itself. But then these strategies make it so that you can be profitable even with a 30% win rate. And with our signals, you don't have to worry about it. You're already at 70% or something. Now, we have some, a lot of people also coming in from the Forex side right now. Options domination is obviously very attractive. I think we, for example, have Gary Woods on here, who's been a very big leader in the Forex side of things. He has some people he wanted to see this platform as well. Would you, Chip, be able to address a couple of things for people who are coming from the Forex side? One, do we influence the market at all with binary options? I mean, I know the answer, but I wanted to kind of explain a little bit. One, do we influence the market, not of binary options themselves, but of the movement of prices of these particular assets? Do we influence those? And secondly, how does Nadex work with IG? What's the relationship there, and so on?
Okay. Well, the analogy that I like to bring up is, and this is when the '87 crash, the S&P futures was accused of causing everything, where the tail wagged the dog. Binaries are the tail, and the dog is the underline. So the binaries do not move the underline. Okay, it's the underline that is the driving force, and its binaries are really reactionary to it. And if you think about it, look at what the underline is. They're all very, very leveraged, and you have a fixed, fixed cost. And on top of that, we have contract limits on how much people can put on, positions on, to also kind of put a squelch on that stuff.
Yeah. So really, actually, this is a very good point to bring up that analogy in the past. The analogy of the guys running. Do you think that when Jason and I are watching these guys run, well, Jason would probably be running with the guys. But let's say that Jason, Kevin, and I are standing and we're watching these guys run, and we go to Chip and we're like, hey, Chip, I think this guy's gonna win, and Jason said that guy's gonna win. Does any of that influence the speed of the guys who are running, or the people who are, does it influence the result of the race? Absolutely not. But when these guys are running the race, when one of them speeds up or one of them slows down, does it influence how we react to it? Yes, it does. Okay, so when you go and take a binary option trade, when you go and open a trade saying, yeah, I believe that Euro JPY is going to end up above this particular strike price, it does nothing to influence Euro or JPY. That money is not actually going to purchase Euro or to sell JPY or anything like that. It's not actually influencing those prices at all. So you don't have the risk or the issue of 1,000 people came in together and they all bought euros, and therefore it shifted the market. You can't do a pump and dump kind of situation with a binary option. So that's one of the things that Chip wanted to clarify, that we obviously want to clarify. It makes a big difference. That's what he meant by the tail doesn't wag the dog. The driving factor is the underlying market. The other thing is, I saw a few people ask, what does Chip mean by the underlying? By underlying, he means the underlying market. Okay, so when we go and take a trade saying that Euro JPY will be above this strike price, when we enter that trade, the underlying assets is Euro JPY. That's basically what he's talking about. So when I was talking about the analysis of Euro JPY in the market, that's basically what we're talking. We're talking about the exact same thing. I'm saying we should be analyzing Euro JPY, and whether or not it's overbought, oversold, or what's going on with that, instead of just looking at this price and saying, oh, is this close to expiry? Is it far from expiry? Let's take a trade based on that. Instead, we should be taking a trade based on what do our signals say? What does Newsfeed say? What does our analysis say? Okay, so that was that. And then Chip, if you could walk us through a little bit about IG and things like that.
Yes, certainly. But one thing I did want to bring up, though, about Nadex. Nadex is an exchange. So on the exchange, all these orders that are being placed, there's transparency. No one knows who is on the other side of the trade. Nadex is the matching engine, and there is no counterparty risk for anybody, because the trade does not happen unless both parties' initial cost is in their accounts. So if it's a 60 trade price, one guy's putting up 60, the other guy's putting up 40, and if it's not there, the trade doesn't happen. So where the exchange the exchange is really the matching engine, but we are we're the clearing, self-clearing a DCO, and so we essentially are the guarantor of the trade. But if you think about it, that other exchanges are on margin. So if you have like the CME or whatever, if there's problems, you have a rogue trader. Then look what happened to Shearson Lehman, or some of this, or MF Global. You have problems, then that can happen. Well, on our products, everything is fully collateralized. So it's impossible. So there's some good insurances there. Now, IG Group, originally we were known as Hedge Street, a small little startup company, and back then the CBOE owned about 20% of Hedge Street. A couple market makers, DRW, Susquehanna, owned about 20%. Huge hedge, or what was it? There was another hedge fund that was probably the major investor, Norwest Capital. Anyway, they needed funding, and then IG Group bought the whole thing. And since then, IG Group has changed the order of the structure. They just total facelift, added products, a lot of improvements. But IG Group is I don't know how many people know, but they're a huge company where they do CFDs, binaries, FX, all this. Now, MRM is one of the market makers who is a wholly owned subsidiary of IG who makes markets on Nadex. Group 1 is another market maker who is quite one of the larger market makers over at the CBOE, and we are in discussions with two more, but I can't share the identity. So it is starting to catch on, where more market makers are interested in these products, and we're also close to having some FCMs on board as well, in discussions there. So it's interesting stuff. But IG is doing these type of products as well, only on OTC, not exchange.
Yeah.
And with OTC, I mean, we're regulated by the CFTC, and live by it, you die by it. So certain products that we might want to add to our list of products, we have to get the CFTC to give the okay. Where other, like the IG, they can offer a lot of other different type of products that we cannot. So.
Yep. So basically, Nadex is very specialized towards binary options themselves. They're the web platform. They allow anybody to come in, and not anybody, but somebody who has sent in the documents first, I guess, to come in and take the trades and participate in the binary options industry. While IG, while it offers similar products, in certain spheres, offers a whole lot more as well. It's a huge company at this point. And when Chip is talking about market makers becoming interested and participating with Nadex, that's a very good thing, because that just means more liquidity, and it allows more users to participate without running into scenarios where you go to take a contract and there's nobody on the other side, things like that. Those happen less when you have more participating market makers. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is actually I'll have a very detailed breakdown of some of the background financing, what's happening in the background in the financial world as well. For those of you who are interested in the theories of, how does the market move? Why does it move? How do we have maintain liquidity? What are these different government agencies? What are they regulating? Why are they regulating? All that stuff. So we'll cover that. I know majority of the people are not interested in that. That's the kind of stuff that I absolutely adore. But for majority of the people, that's like the things that they don't want to hear about. It's like Chip with taxes. You don't want to talk about it whatsoever. So we'll cover all of those things in separate videos that I'll put in the back office. The purpose of tonight's webinar is really two things. One, to have you guys understand that there is more to trading than just fixed trade size and fixed earning, that there are strategies available to you to use at this moment already with options domination and our signals combined with Nadex. You can earn very high returns, where a lot of this is easier for you, and that you can actually put in working orders to make sure that your trades close when they hit a certain price point. And maybe we will do that one demo before we go. Chip, if you would like to show one more time how to set up a working order where let's say we want to say, oh, close my trade when I make 150% profit or something like that. Okay, so we will do that. After that, I'll be very happy to address any questions you guys have. So anybody has any questions, please run them through here. Anything related to Nadex, anything related to options domination, anything else, it'll be just basically an open forum kind of setting, and we'll address anything that you guys have questions about. Okay, so Chip, I'm going to hand this over to you one more time. Okay, and then if you can just show us how you open a ticket. You open an order. We're going to pretend I'm going to make up a signal right now. This is not a real signal. I'm just going to make up a signal. And Chip, go ahead and take a trade, and then we will set up a working order where it's going to automatically close the trade when we hit 150% profit on it. Okay? So the screen is yours. Please enlighten us. Still waiting. Okay, while Chip is getting the page working, in the meantime, Jason, are you still here?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know what happened to Chip. We're still waiting for Chip to turn on his screen share. In the meantime, I'll just address a couple of questions very quickly. One is, maybe have a glossary of terms to help us understand. Yes, absolutely. And one important thing is, please go through foundational training. In the foundational training videos, I actually go through a very detailed breakdown of what different terms mean, what is the strike price, what is the expiry time, and all that good stuff. Okay, so go through that once. And you will be receiving live signals. You guys can use them in demo. You can use those in live. It's completely up to you. Our actual live trading sessions with our traders are going to start tomorrow night. Like I said, they'll start on Monday. So for us, it's still Sunday night. They'll start tomorrow, which is Monday. And we also have additional brokers in the background. So now again, Nadex is great, but you will notice that there are certain signals that come in where the assets are not available at Nadex to trade, or they come in at, let's say, the TMR trades, right? 5-minute trades. You won't always find those same assets available with Nadex. So you can actually go take those trades on spot option platform like we've already provided. There's also a tech financial platform in the background. You'll be able to go to all of those. We're setting up a lot of relationships with a lot of brokers, and obviously we have one with Nadex right now. There are no special bonus perks available at Nadex for our members, except that when you tell them that you're with Options Domination, you get noticed a little bit more, and they expend a little bit more effort in working with you and making sure things are going well. And then there will be a benefit that you will get down the road that we're working on the details for. And now the Chip is back. I can hear him.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I just learned how to turn on my mute. All right. So I just put on an open position.
Can you share your screen with us? I don't think I can't see your screen. Can everybody else see the screen?
Yeah. His screen's up.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so what I did was I put on an open position in this on the euro greater than 1.0885. I bought it at 15.75. Bought one contract, so that's my risk for one contract, $15.75. So it's not a whole heck of a lot of risk, and so I can walk away from that. But so what I did was I put on this order to sell one at 40 above the market. So beyond, I don't have my little calculator here, but it's over 100% return.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I need the underline to pop up. Now, if I decided that as I'm watching it and I'm going I don't know if it's going to get that high, maybe I'm getting greedy, I can always lower it and amend the order, and there we go. Then we put it in a little lower. So we can change orders, and that could be to offset an order, or I could also just say, hey, here's one, I want to buy it, but I want to buy it at 20. So you could put in limit orders to initiate a position as well. Now the problem is you're kind of guessing where the market may be, because it is it's an options pricing model is what you really need to be able to have to put this in. So you can put them in like this to put in a limit order to try to get a position. But if you're really the way to do it is if you're watching the euros on the charts or whatever, and you're saying, okay, now's the time to buy, then you want to go to the binary and say, okay, I'm buying it at the money, in the money, out of the money. That's how you're going to do it, because it's driven by the underlying on the price action.
And these working orders can be edited and amended multiple times, right?
Yeah. Well, I could go here and I could cancel it, or I can amend it. Okay.
Yep.
So I delete the order, it's gone, just like that. Okay, close, and it disappeared.
And you only pay the 90 cents at the entrance and the exit of the trade, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you anything to keep amending these.
Yeah, to enter an order, there's no charge. Once you get filled on an order, then there's a 90 cents per contract, and if you're trading greater than 10 lots, it's capped at $9. Now, if you happen to do a binary, and you go into expiration and you're on the wrong side of the trade, you lost, you're done. There's no additional fee. You just walk away. Okay? And it's just pretty much that simple.
And then basically, can a stop loss be set in virtually the same way? You just have it the other side.
No, we only have limit orders and no stop loss orders. So in a way, you need to consider that when you're trading the binary. So if you're doing a cheaper initial cost, less than 50, you could view that as it's got a built-in stop. You're never going to risk more than that. But if you're trading premium where it's 85 or 70 or 90, I mean, you're paying a high proportion. It would be nice to have a stop loss, but the concern is these binary pricings can move so quickly. It's just, it could be a nightmare on getting stops filled, you know.
Yeah.
And so there's this concern to have it on, you know, include stops. So, but it's been brought up. It has been suggested, and it's been talked about quite a bit as well. So.
Very neat. So basically, the idea here is, here's one fun little thing that you can do with the 5-minute trades, or actually, if you're an enterprise, there's a rapid reversal technique. Let us start there, right? Hopefully, you guys have gone through those training videos. Kevin trains on that one, and this is actually this core strategy, the rapid reversal strategy, is actually one of the first strategies that I had going back like almost a year ago. And that strategy was very, very successful for us. And I bet right now Kevin wishes that he was trading on Nadex because of the returns you can get, because he was able to turn an account from like a very small amount to significant. I think it was like from $300 to $5,000 or something like that. Kevin is on here. Maybe he can talk at some point. But that particular strategy is actually very, very good to use with Nadex because of these working orders. Here's why. So you note that you entered a trade. It's actually better to use it with Nadex than just by itself. So let me walk you guys through this concept very, very quickly. So let's say you look at the rapid reversal, and you see that a particular currency has hit the point, a pair has hit the point where you know it's going to reverse. Okay, you go in, you open an order at Nadex, you open the ticket at that price, okay, and you take the sell position or the buy position depending on if the market is overbought or oversold. Okay, so when you look at the enterprise trading, it'll tell you that, oh, if you're looking at this in charts, then it'll go down, otherwise it'll go up in the short term. Okay, this is not a long-term trade. This is not a half an hour to an hour or a week trade. It's a short-term trade. So what you do is you go to Nadex, you open a ticket, whatever price it's available for, you take that, and then you immediately open a working order for, let's say, a 50%, 60, 70% payout, okay, for that profit level. You set that up because we know that at some point in the near future, in the next 1 minute or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, the price is going to go down and hit that level. And what happens is the second it hits that level, you get the trade closes and you walk out with your profit, right? That's the neat thing about Nadex, in my opinion, why that makes that particular strategy work even better, because you don't have to necessarily wait until the end of the expiry.
Right. Did you see that order when I placed it? I missed it, and it went to working orders, and then next thing I know, the market hit it, and that's my order right there, 59.5 that I bought it. I got 2 minutes left, and here's the order that I'm trying to work. I'm working it at 70 to sell.
Unfortunately, I'm being serious. I cannot see your screen.
Oh,
still.
It's really nice. No. It's really nice.
Everybody else can, and I'm like, I'm missing out on all the glory here.
Well, I don't.
I need to see this. But okay. Yeah, so
I don't know what happened.
Was this in general? Did that make sense? Did the whole thing with enterprise training and how you can use that with Nadex to get even a higher win rate? Because I know there are a lot of people right now using that, and they're using that for straight up 5-minute trades or something like that, and they're seeing like a 70% win rate, 75% win rate in some cases. Okay, but do you see how you can use that with Nadex for an even better success rate? Simply because, here, let me actually draw this out. This will make a lot more sense if I draw it out in Paint. Now, please. Forgive me, everybody knows I love doodling on Paint, but I don't have a mouse, so I'm going to be using a touchpad, so it's kind of cumbersome. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw out a quick chart. Come on. Here we go. Okay, so here's a chart of a currency pair, and let's say the price is moving. And at this moment, okay, this is obviously a very neat looking movement. I wish the market were always like that. But here we have, let's say, a moment where you're looking at the enterprise training, and the enterprise training says right here, okay, based on all the different levels and based on the 4 out of the 6 indications being met at the same time, that we believe in the next 4 or 5 minutes the market is going to go down, maybe 2 minutes, whatever. Now, here's what happens sometimes with that. Now, people are currently trading that, using that strategy. They're getting 70% plus win rates. I know that because we see that feedback all the time. But here's what happens sometimes with that. It starts going down. Okay, let's say we said it's going to go down. It starts going down, and then in the last minute, it kind of recovers. Okay, and you would have won the trade. And so let's say this is the 3-minute mark right here. This is the 3-minute mark. And then this is the 5-minute mark, and then you end up losing at the 5-minute mark, even though you were winning substantially majority of the time. Okay, that's the only downside of it, and even that happens relatively rarely. Okay, including that phenomena, we're at a very high win rate. With Nadex, your benefit is this: you can enter the trade here. You know it's going to go down because of all the parameters. We just don't know if it's going to stay down, right? And that's the hard thing. Nobody can predict the future accurately all the time, unless you're Nicolas Cage in Next. So what you end up doing is you say, let me set up a working order on this, that as soon as I'll enter the trade and as soon as I am 50% in the profit, okay, or some reasonable payout percentage, you say as soon as I'm 50% reasonably in the profit, close the trade. So let's say that your cost for entering the trade on Nadex over here was $12. Okay, let's say you entered at 12, then you would set it up at, when this is at 20, okay, when the price is 20, go ahead and close the trade, fill that particular order. And what would happen is, at this position right here, let's say for example, that trade gets filled for you, and on a regular platform, at 5 minutes, you might have lost it. But because of the working order at 3 minutes, you still won. You already won that. So it becomes a situation where, because this is such a strong system, where it almost always goes in that direction, the hard thing is predicting whether or not it'll stay over there, it'll stay below that level or above that level. It ends up becoming a really, really strong system when you combine it with Nadex. And that's one of the beauties of Nadex for me in this particular scenario. And you can actually even set it up for, you can do it very safely too. Very, very rarely, less than I would say 10% of the time, and that's somewhat statistically based, it's not exactly 10%, but somewhere around in that neighborhood. Only somewhere in that neighborhood would this happen, where you would get the indication from enterprise system that it's going to go down and it'll continue going up. And that happens somewhat rarely. Most of the time, it will go down, but it might not stay down for long, or it might go down 7 minutes later instead of 2 minutes later or 5 minutes later. And with Nadex, because you have the working order in place and you have you're not being forced into that expiry time immediately, you win a lot more. So you can actually increase your win rate dramatically just by using the strategy or just by using the system, as has been shown. So that's how it goes. And I see somebody just asked the question, how do you close the trade early? You actually don't go in and close it early yourself. You literally just tell Nadex through a working order ticket, just like you saw Chip do. You open a working order ticket that says, when this is worth 20, fill the order. Okay, I'll walk away with my $20. And in that case, your cost is 12, your profit is 20 minus your Nadex fees of 90 cents, and you walk away with that profit basically before the 5 minute is over, or whenever the expiry of the trade is. Okay, and that's kind of what we are getting at. So Chip just showed that, how to do that, and maybe we need to see that one more time. I'm not sure. But I can obviously I'll have the recording in the back office, so you guys can go and review that again, so you can see how to set up a working order. There's actually a training in the back office right now that shows you how to set up a working order as well. And Chip, if I'm not wrong, I think you have training videos on Nadex's site that also shows how to set up working orders and things like that.
Yes, there are, but I can run through it again here on that working order thing.
Yes,
okay.
Let me make your presenter one more time.
Okay.
Okay. This time around,
do you see my screen?
Can everybody see the screen? Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to go 36. Well, this is going to expire pretty darn quickly, so I'll just go to a different one. But okay, so let's say we were interested in this one, the Euro USD 188.4. Okay, So I lift the offer to buy it. They're willing to sell it. I want to buy it. That's the way to get it involved in the trade right now. And right now, oh, this is what I wanted to let you know. Now, these binary prices can move very quickly at times. Okay, so on Nadex, the only type of order we have are a limit order. Okay, so I can try to lift the offer to buy it, but for example, I'm trying to buy 12 and a half, so it's 14. So what you can do is you can bid through the offer price, but of only what you're willing to accept. All right, it already moved. But you see, so what happens is I'm going to put it at 20, and I'm going to buy it right now, place order. Now, as long as that offer price is there, see, I got filled at 15.75. But if the offer price just it's moved so quickly, if it disappeared and then my 20 bid price goes, it's posted first, then the 20 price would be trading. But this is a way so you don't cancel replace. It's a way to get in the market and not to not miss it in a fast type of market. So anyway, here's the position. I'm buying one at 15.75, and now when I click, this is an open position. I have the trade on, and so when I click that green circle, that gives me the offsetting position of the, and it's got everything at the time. This is where the bid was at the time I click that green circle. So what I want to do is I want to take a profit. I purchased it at 15.75. I'm going to put an offer in at 30, and I'm going to place the order. And that's my working order right here to take profit against this position, 12 a.m. against 12 a.m. Now, if I was saying, okay, we're watching the market and it's like, okay, I want to get out, well, there it is. My ticket's queued up. It's all queued up, so I could just go, okay, I'm hitting the bid, boom, amend order, and then I'm flat. Okay, so I offset the trade. So if you're getting to the point you're watching the underline and you're saying, hey, I'm not going to get filled, I want to get out right now, that's the process. You click this green circle right there in your working orders. So you amend that order, although here there's no bids at this time on this order. So what you could do is try to offer it out maybe even a little lower and see what happens to try to draw interest. And that would be you right there. Okay? You want me to run that through one more time?
What do you guys think? Should Chip repeat it? Yes.
Okay. All right. So
people are loving this, by the way. This is like the meat and potatoes. No offense to anybody who's a vegetarian, but this is the stuff that makes it work. So this time around, do it without. Apparently, Claudia wants you to do it without using any terms. I don't think it's possible to do it without using any terms, but maybe
what?
Terms, like trading terms. I think it's just when you say underlying market, they're like, what?
Okay, all right. So
okay. Fewer terms and more of. Imagine you were explaining this to an 8-year-old who's not a genius at stock markets. I know there are some 8-year-olds who trade stock markets.
Okay.
So.
All right.
But not like it's a 5-year-old, because then it'll be all about dragons.
Okay. So. Okay. Very good. So this option is going to expire in 1 hour and 5 minutes, and you're thinking that the Euro USD spot is going to finish higher than this price level. Okay? And right now it's trading, it's a little under this price level. So we're kind of at a disadvantage. So we're going to buy the binary at $15. That's how much we're willing to risk, $15. And if we're right that the spot euro finishes higher than this 188.4, then we're going to get $100. And so out of the 100 it cost us 15, that means we make 85. So we're going to place the order. And let's see here. Where did it go? Oh. What price? Oh, 15, that's right. 15, there it is. So that's the order. We got filled on the order, so we bought it. That means plus one contract. That's our average price. And so if the euro, the spot euro starts to go higher, and it gets closer to this price level, then the price will go towards 100. So we really don't want to wait till for the full hour. So what we may do is we're going to try to sell this at maybe 40. And that is to 40 is the price to take profits. And there it is, to sell one at 40. So you're risking 15. That's how much it costs you to put on the position. And if the spot euro trades higher, the binary will increase in value as it gets closer and closer to this price level. And as it approaches, then before it gets to that strike, it'll trade 40, and you'll lock in a profit difference between 15 and 40, or $25. Okay. Shall we do a sell one?
Yes, and I think people are liking this a lot now. Not that they were not liking it earlier, but now it's helping them understand it, I think, a little bit more too.
Okay. Well, all right. So I'm just going to refer to this index right here as the spot rate of the euro. Okay. That's where the cash market is. It's really the underlying indicative, but that's what it's representing for us. So the cash euro is trading at this level right here, and we are thinking that the euro is going to sell off. Okay, and we're thinking that it could drop. Let's say we think it's going to go down to 0.865. Okay. So 0.865, this is farther below 0.864, so we might not be inclined to do this one, because if we sell this one, it would cost us $20.75. If we sell this strike, which is our target is below 0.868, that would cost us $33.50. Okay, so I'm bearish on the market. I think it's going to finish below this. That's within the hour. So if I sell one, it's going to sell one at the price, the binary trade price at $66.50. It's going to cost me $33.50. If I hold it till expiration and I'm right, then that's my profit, $66.50. So I'm going to place the order. And there it is. Okay? Right there's the line. So now what I want to do is put in an order to buy it back at a profit. Okay, so I'm short right here, a -1. That means I'm short, or I sold it first. There's the price, 67.25. So I'm going to try to buy it back at 50. So if the price is at 50, that means that this cash rate the spot euro will be really darn close to the strike. So I'm looking for that to happen hopefully before expiration, because if it happens while you get close to expiration, then remember that story that I was telling you about how the prices are getting pulled 0 to 100, it'll get very whipsawy. So if it happens quickly, then I can profit from it. Okay? Another question?
Okay. Yeah, actually, majority of the things coming in here are people just really excited. This is incredible, great content. Everything is getting clearer. So this is exactly what we needed.
Well, I think the main point is to look at the spot rate, the cash market compared to this. So here's the cash market, 0873, 0873. So this one is this strike or price level is the closest to at the money. So this one should be close to 50, and look at that. There it is, 50.75 to 60. It's 73 is the pip above, so that's why it's priced over 50. So if you can get that that idea that if the if the cash market is at the strike, then it's worth half the payout. That's kind of that's the trade. Is it going to finish over, or is it not? And if it's right there, it's a 50-50 chance. It's a coin toss. Now, if the cash market is above the strike, this is above all these, then its value in as towards the buyer is greater than 50. And here you have it. This strike is in the money less than this one. 0852 compared to 0874, it's just more in the money, and that's why it costs more. That's why it's priced closer and closer to 100. Now 0874 is below this one, and it's 4 pips more, or it's 8 pips below this one, and it keeps on going every 4. Okay, so it gets cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. It's like out of the money calls. So you're just queuing this up, and the whole point is the cash market going to rally over this? It costs me it cost me $8 to make 92, but my whole premise on owning this is I'm bullish on the euro. Here it is. Can it get this high? And how many pips difference is that? 874. So it's about 18 pips, right? Something like that. So does that make sense for less than an hour? Can the market move? Now, if this cash market pops a little bit and starts to get close, this will increase in value. So you don't have to get married to the position and think, oh, I have to hold it till expiration. I want the full payout. Hey, if it starts going higher, this starts moving higher towards this strike, this might be trading 30, 40. Buy it at 8, get out at 40. I'd do that all day if I was allowed to trade. So I can't with the exchange. But that's the idea. Think of it in percentages. But again, it's the reason you're doing it is because you're bullish on this price and you're looking for it to move higher or finish over the strike. And the fact that you have signal services, that you're kind of, that's helping you on, okay, making it almost simplified on which ones to go towards.
Okay. I think everybody's pretty happy so far. Are there more questions, guys? There's one question from Miriam. What happened to the one that you had put in that expired at 11? Can you just go to the history and show them what happened there?
What happened on one of the trades?
Yes, on the one that expired at 11 p.m.
like, oh, not here. So you're asking, okay. Okay, hang on. Okay, so it's going to show up here someplace. Which one were we looking at?
Miriam didn't qualify. Just one
here?
that ended 11. Yeah. And I can't see your screen, so sorry.
Okay, so well, if you go to the time of sales, it'll show you all the no, that's not it. Excuse me, 1 second.
Jason and Kevin, since you can see the screen, can you coordinate and
let's see. Okay.
Well, here's the other thing you can do is if you go to your account and you go history, statements, open a current statement, it will tell you what the binary settled at as well, if this opens for me. It might not be doing it because I'm in the go-to meeting thing.
Yeah, usually though you see that actually in the you usually see that in the order history as well. So
right.
Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why it didn't pop up this time.
So the trades that I did, we definitely need some improvement on our statements. But here, settlement fee payout 0. Payout. It looks like it didn't do too well here on payouts. Otherwise, it would get 100 on the binaries. Okay.
Okay. So Chip, can you clarify also, like when someone sets up a demo account, they'll basically have 2 weeks, and then if they deposit a minimum of 100, can they get that kept open?
Yeah, you know what?
Account?
You just open up a demo, and if they can send me an email or have you let me know their username, and we'll take care of them. It's important that you understand that you feel comfortable with understanding the mechanics, and so you need more time. You need more time. I really don't care. That's fine.
Okay, that would be great, because we have members, and they're obviously paying for the signals and that. And the biggest thing is, I even know for me, when I started trading with Nadex, I mean, there was a little learning curve and time to get comfortable with it and so forth. And then I would just like to know. I know some people have concerns that they have 2 weeks, and I just want to make sure that we never want to push anyone. They have the motivation to get trading. They all want to make money, but at the same time, they really do need to be confident and comfortable with what they're using.
You definitely need to be comfortable on understanding the mechanics of how to place the trade, offset a trade, all that stuff. So my suggestion is 1 lots. Make sure you understand, cost. What's it cost? What's the payout? It always adds up.
Right.
And get used to being long the binary trade price, short the binary trade price. What that means, what's in the money, at the money, out of the money, and what that means, how much, how much edge you're giving up, or none at all, or receiving. And when you get those terms, then then you get a signal, and you can play it a lot better on which one to pick.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, that sounds great. Hitesh?
Yep, I'm here.
Looks like quite a few questions have been answered there.
Yes, majority have been answered. And again, I want to clarify the stuff that Chip was doing on the screen there. He was trying to show you guys the process of setting up a working order. You're not going to be doing these things blindly. Okay, like Chip was just showing you how it's done. That's why he's like just setting it up. But when you're actually doing this stuff and you're actually taking a trade or you're setting up a working order and so on, you're going to do that reasonably after looking at the signals issued to you or by doing the market analysis. Okay, so you won't just go in there and just say, oh, this looks like it's far enough away from the current price, I'm going to take it. Okay, Chip is not actually allowed to give advice on how to take trades. That's why he can't go into the details of it. So don't just go onto Nadex and go, well, this looks like it's far enough from the strike price, I should take this one. Don't do that. It's based upon market analysis, and it's based upon the signals that you're getting. Okay? So that's what you need to be doing. Just go to your options domination back office, go to the signals page. You will see the signals coming in there. It will look somewhat, I don't know if it looks pretty, but it looks at least busy. It looks something like this, okay, and you will take trades based on that. Chip, can you also just give us the email address or a contact person that you would like us to have people contact to get extended demos and things like that?
You know what? Why don't you just shoot it over to me, okay? And I'll, if you're having a big list, I'll take care of it for you.
Okay, so guys, do this then. Just if you need an extended demo, go to the help desk and just make a note that what your Nadex username and everything is. Say that I need the extended demo, and we will go ahead and get it sorted out with Chip for you. We'll just send him a list in one shot, and we'll say here's all the people that we extend. Yep.
So are they going to go? They're going to go to you, and then you're sending them to me. Maybe have a mass email or whatever it is.
Yeah, we just give you one list in one shot from everybody from this webinar.
All right.
Okay. Now the other thing I want to address, obviously all the other things that tie in with this as well. For the people who are asking about, what happens with assets or signals that are not available at Nadex, one thing you have to know is that Nadex is constantly adding more assets, adding more time frames. They've already added a significantly higher number of time frames than they once had. Way back when I actually first looked into Nadex, I don't think you guys even had the 1 hour expiry at all. So this has definitely been good. And going forward, as the volume overall of trading increases, you will see a lot more options both in assets as well as in time frames available on there. Meanwhile, when you get a trade that is not tradable on Nadex, that's why we said you can always set up other accounts if you so choose. There are going to be additional brokers available tonight if they're not already on the brokers page. You can go there and check that out. Here's what's being released over this week, okay? And all of this you can tie in with Nadex. We have a new signal stream coming out of 1-minute trades. We have another signal stream coming out of 15-minute trades. We have a news feed being released, so you can use that for market news trading. We have the app that was just submitted for approvals, and as soon as the approvals are out, we'll have the app sent out to all of you. You can use the app for trading as well. You will have advanced, not advanced, I shouldn't say advanced. You'll have more broken down ABC 1, 2, 3 kind of training videos for Nadex. We have a trading event coming up on Tuesday. We will have a webinar with our trading team. We'll actually have some of our traders on there, and we will go through the mechanics of trading. Instead of just going over the platform, we'll actually go through the mechanics about how to have more wins in more than just even looking at the signals table, how to analyze and how to choose which trades you should not enter. I kind of go over that in the signals video, but we'll go a little bit more in depth. That will be on Tuesday. And then finally, we will also be starting the live trading sessions tomorrow night. So starting tomorrow, Monday, you will be able to log into your back office, go to Legacy or Enterprise, go to the live trading, and you will be able to start taking some live trades on there as well with our traders. Okay, so all of this stuff is coming. Um, I want to make sure that everything is addressed about Nadex. If needed, we will definitely, we're actually very excited that Chip, you were willing to come out here and answer all these questions and show us all the stuff. We will definitely, I mean, if you guys want, we can ask Chip and request if he can come over again. We had to bribe him a pretty significant price, but we'll do it. I'm kidding. I don't know that. Oh, and Chip, there is one important question I want to ask you.
What's that?
Can you explain to us how do taxes work for all of our members?
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Why did I almost brought that up before. Like, don't ask me any of that. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So we are obviously very thankful. Hopefully, you guys got some nice little perspective on what you can achieve here. Remember, okay, let's go back. Let's say you're an international person. You've never used Nadex. If you were just using the signals, getting a 67% win rate with a 70 to 80% payout, you are profitable already. Okay. If you are using Nadex with only very specific trades in the way that we just showed you, even with a 50 to 60% win rate, you will be very, very profitable with that. This is all about, first of all, becoming familiar with the way of thinking and with the market out there that is out of the norm. Okay, it's very interesting to me because remember when you guys first heard about selling on eBay or drop shipping and all these things. You first heard about it. It's kind of out of the norm. You're like, what? That happens? How does that work? And you go in there, and then you suddenly realize that once you start doing it, it's easier than it looks. And it's the same thing here. This is a market you're unfamiliar with. It's kind of this uncharted territory. And now, hopefully, you guys have seen the kind of profits that are possible and the kind of earnings that are possible in this marketplace. So you can go out here and really start getting excited about it. The Tuesday webinar will be posted in your back office. We will put the link out there. We'll send an email to everybody in Options Domination so you guys can get on. And if you have any more questions, okay, write down some questions. Go through tomorrow, all of today and tomorrow. Go through the training and go through everything else in the back office. Go take some trades on Nadex and write down your questions and then ask again on the Tuesday night webinar. Okay, I'll address any questions you have again on there. We won't have Chip on there with us on Tuesday, but I'll answer everything I can. And if there are more questions and you guys want more Nadex stuff, I'll definitely see if we can get Chip on here as well. And just one quick status report, like we told you guys before, Options Domination in its first 2 weeks of existence is now the biggest signal provider, the biggest training, and all these things for options, for binary options already. We're gonna continue this phase. We're gonna finish our growth out of here over the next month or so, and then we will also be introducing many other aspects of Options Domination. Forex, commodities, futures, all of those things will be coming out over time as well. So all of the stuff is coming out. Everybody is already very excited. The feedback so far from users has been awesome. We've had a tremendously high number of users actually be profitable in the first week already. We've had some users make more than they've made in a month or so in their first week. So it's very exciting to see that tremendous amounts of effort and work have gone in here to make sure this is good for you guys. And it seems like it's paying off, so we are pretty excited about that. Keep in mind just one point. We have not yet opened to the world. Okay, so we are the largest and all that stuff. We have not yet actually opened. You can't actually go and sign up to Options Domination quite yet. So we will be doing that on 31st of March, and all these other releases will be coming out then. And I'm really looking forward to where this goes and how big this gets and all that other beautiful stuff. So if you guys have any final questions for Chip, not related to your taxes, please let us know.
Jesus.
And
that's a good one. Okay.
Oh, hey guys, real quick, I got a question.
All right.
Chip, I've got a question. This is Kevin O'Connor here. So, quick question. What if, and I did this, so if I did this and you didn't, and it's not approved, then I apologize. But instead of extending out my demo account when I got started with Nadex, what I did was I went and created a different demo account with a different email account.
That is that you've learned. That is another way to do it.
Yep. So guys, if your extension, instead of sending mass emails to Chip, I think it would be much better to just go on there, go back, log in your back office of Options Domination, go to the Brokers tab. There's a box that says click here to open up your demo account, and open up a new demo account with just a different email address, and you can continue on that way. And then at the time when you're looking to fund your account and get up and running, you send in the necessary documents to Nadex, and once they confirm you, just go back and activate your original account. So if you're in that situation, that's what I would do if I was you guys. And I'm glad Chip didn't say don't do that for whatever reason. So there we go.
Kevin Aquana.
Oh, the firm is. No, I know where I think they're getting away from it where they're just going to demos forever. But no, that is until that's locked in a done deal, then that would be another option to do for sure.
And again, important point, guys. This is trading. There is an inherent risk. Don't trade with funds that you can't afford to lose. If you're uncomfortable, if you don't understand it, go and demo until you're comfortable with it, until you see it work out over time. I think the guidelines that I gave in the training videos was trade for a month on demo if you've never traded before, so you can see how law of averages works. You want to get used to having a day or a week where you lose, okay? Because overall, the idea is over time, across the board, as averages add up, you will win as long as you have higher number of wins or at least higher payouts on your wins. That's what you need to get used to, okay? Don't be emotional about it and all that good stuff. Bad stuff, actually. That's why Chip is very lenient about the demos. Go take demo accounts and enjoy trading until you get used to it, okay? And that should basically cover everything. So a couple side questions for you, Chip, just about Nadex. One, we actually put in a little request to see if there was something special that we could do with the API integrations to make things a little bit easier. I just want to know if where your development team was with that, in the legal team and everything. That's something that is potentially in the works.
Well, the API, you can apply for an API. One's available for data only, and then one's the data and actually trading. So if you want, but it's only one line for one account. That's the way the structure is for direct membership. Now we are working with on trying to onboard some FCMs, future commission merchants, and when that happens, then some of the normal processes of how APIs and all that I anticipate will be happening. But right now the direct model makes it a little tougher doing business, more stringent on everything, you know.
Yeah. Well, here's the idea. So everybody, this was kind of the idea. Once Nadex gets to that stage where such API layerings will be possible, and this is why when you go set up your account with Nadex, let them know that you came from Options Domination, because this is a future perk that we will be able to work out once they have everything taken care of on that side. Is with API layering and potentially being able to link your signals directly over to Nadex from your Options Domination account. And obviously that's all dependent on, a lot of technical and legal things have to be worked out for something like that to happen. But that's the direction that we want to go. And that's something that's kind of a perk that all of our Options Domination members who have joined Nadex through us will be able to get benefit of in the future. So make sure you let them know that you're working with us. We do not, at this point, have any special deal with them, okay? Just so you guys don't wonder about why we're telling you to go there, and let them know that's why we're telling you, because we want to be able to provide these special perks for you guys down the road, okay? And the Options Domination opens to non-DSD members on the 31st of March. So it was available only to active DSD members until the 21st of March. It was available to active and inactive DSD users until 31st of March. And we make it available to non-DSD members, to the world as a whole, on 31st of March. So, Chip, if you have had to work overtime, you guys...
Oh my God, what? What are you doing?
We haven't opened yet.
Take it easy. Jesus, gravity. All right.
So yeah, if any of you have been promoting your links or trying to drive traffic and things like that, you will notice that it's pretty significantly hard. There are a couple of ways to sneak in, I guess, but 99% of the people will have a difficult time actually creating their accounts in options domination if they're not a DST user. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Overall, to give you guys my overall impression in the end, I would say your best combination right now is watch enterprise training. Use that with Nadex. You will be very, very excited about what you can accomplish. I just went on Facebook for a second, and there was somebody who had posted that they made $700 in their first 3 days using enterprise videos in there for the training. And we are putting out more and more stuff. I'm actually probably going to put out not just a new signal stream, but an indicator as well. So we'll see all of that stuff. But anyways, for now, I think everybody's been on here really long. This has been awesome. Yep. So our first webinar, we packed out the webinar, hit the limit. There were people who tried to get on, couldn't get on. And Chip has been awesome. I did not know, Chip, you had so much time to yourself that you could be on a webinar with us.
I just love tax questions, that's all.
Yeah, that's all it is. So, really, really thankful to have you on here. Obviously, really thankful to have Jason and Kevin on here. We would be kind of lost without Kevin. He's been an amazing, awesome stabilizing force through all of this. And obviously, really thankful to have all of you guys on here as well. So, Chip, if you want to say good night and goodbye to everybody.
Hey, I really appreciate you having me on here, and it's really great. I can't believe how many people you've got interested in our products, but they are, it's really just another trading instrument. It's another choice, like options, calls, and puts, but this is a little unique, and you have to realize how it works, and then trade your opinion. So anyway, thank you very much for having me.
You are very welcome. Thank you for coming over.
All
right then, everybody. We will see you on Tuesday. Watch out for a link in the back office. There will be a link in the back office and email to you. You'll probably see it spread all over Facebook pretty soon as well. Tuesday night webinar with our trading team, and we'll go over some cool stuff and show you guys some of the ways to increase your win rates from maybe 65, 66% to like 70, 75%, like immediately. Okay. So have a great night, everybody, and we will see you soon.
All right.